Bill Skarsgård returns as Pennywise in It, Welcome to Derry, the original prequel series to Andy Muschietti's It film remakes, based on the 1986 Stephen King novel. And Skarsgård is ready to serve up some scares. The series expands on the vision established by Muschietti, who developed the series alongside his sister Barbara Muschietti and Jason Fuchs. The series received a production commitment in November 2022, with Fuchs and Brad Kane hired as showrunners before the show was officially picked up in February 2023 by HBO. Casting for the series began in April 2023, before the Hollywood strikes paused the project. Eventually, it was announced in May 2024 that Skarsgård would return as Pennywise, with him also serving as an executive producer on the series. Fans watching the show will have to wait and make their way through a couple of episodes before the iconic horror clown makes its appearance. Like the movies, the show uses him when the scary situation or story beats truly call for it. Muschietti likened Pennywise's appearances in the show to Bruce the Shark in Jaws. It's very appropriate for a monster that is a shapeshifter to appear in several different shapes and manifestations before he shows up as a clown, says Muschietti. The idea was to build tension around the appearance of the monster that fans know already, and for people to wait to see Pennywise. This is also known as the Jaws effect in film. Barbara says that this approach worked very well for the show, allowing the team to create more creations and fears that the clown can shapeshift into. People never know what to expect from Pennywise. That's the trick. He's absolutely unpredictable, and that's what we love, and that's the freedom we allow ourselves, says Barbara. Thanks to the Jaws effect, fans will have to wait a few episodes in till he makes his appearance, so Muschietti and his team make sure that the monster appears in a big way. If fans recall the movies, this wasn't an issue, as the team delivered on horrifying alternate forms, including a rotting leper, a distorted woman from a painting, a monstrous Paul Bunyan statue, and much more. Since the series has 8 episodes, the team ensured that each episode packed a punch, which was the main difficulty when developing the season. They had to hide Pennywise while at the same time creating new incarnations and new fears that had a level that could get to a Pennywise level of fear. In the pitch to HBO, the series was pitched as a prequel trilogy. In the world of King, It, the monster, emerges every 27 years. The book begins in the 1950s, while Muschietti's movies start in the 80s. So to align with the updated timeline of the films, Season 1 of It, Welcome to Derry, takes place 27 years before the first film in 1962. If Season 1 is successful, the following seasons will continue to go back every 27 years. The early 60s setting allows the series to tap into the broader cultural climate of the era, drawing on issues like the Civil Rights Movement and the Cold War dread. Segregation was still around. Racial problems were at the heart of every town in America, especially the South, but also in the North, and the Cold War too, explains Muschietti. Fans know that Derry is a fictional town in the state of Maine. The team was excited to talk about such issues because it not only gives them a look into history, but also creates dramatic opportunities and problems for the characters. 1962 is also very close to the original timeline of the book, which starts in 1958. Showrunner Kane adds that you can't tell a story about an interdimensional monster that exploits people's fears in 1962 without addressing the great fears and troubles of the time. So the writer's room really leaned into that. While a majority of the show takes place in 1962, it also explores the deeper history of the Derry area. For example, the Native American population plays a major role in the series, bringing a unique perspective that was not present in King's original story or its adaptations. They're the first people that met the monster, and they play a crucial role in the fight against it, Muschietti teases. The decision to include this series-only plotline was to go back to the origins of the creature and the indigenous people of the land. The infamous black spot sequence from the book is adapted for the series. This is a sequence that pulls from real-world fears, especially racial violence in America. In the novel, Mike visits his dying father, Will Hanlon, in the hospital. Will recounts his time in the Air Force and how he and fellow black servicemen founded a nightclub called the Black Spot, intended for black military personnel. One night, a white supremacist group known as the Maine Legion of White Decency attacked the club, setting it ablaze. Dozens of black patrons trapped inside perished in the fire. The fact that the show embraces this sequence reveals that the intention behind the series is beyond just the horrors of Pennywise. The team decided to use the black spot as the framing device for the season and build the subplots around it. In fact, the ensemble cast is led by Paige and Jovan Adepo, who play Charlotte Hanlon and Leroy Hanlon, respectively. By centering black characters at the core of the season, the team can explore the effects of the black spot burning down, while also analyzing the horrors of racial inequality and segregation as social commentary against the evils of Pennywise. Fans may be surprised to know that Hallorann, played by Chris Chalk, is included in the storyline of the series. For those who don't know, Dick is best known for being the head chef at the Overlook Hotel in The Shining, another King book and media franchise. In The Shining, he recognizes Danny Torrance's shine because he possesses his own psychic gift. Dick is briefly featured in the backstory for the Black Spot in the It novel. The novel hints at Dick's shine as part of his salvation from the Black Spot burning down. Muschietti says that the decision to incorporate Dick into the series was simple. It was a no-brainer. Dick was an outstanding character because his power is definitely ingrained in the story, says Muschietti. Filming for the series began in the province of Ontario in Canada in May 2023, under the shooting title Greetings from Fairview, and was expected to continue through December 2023. But production was suspended in July when the dual Hollywood strikes began. Production picked back up in February 2024, with many locations throughout Ontario used for filming. Port Hope was transformed into the town of Derry, Maine for the films, and so the series continued that tradition to keep the same look and feel. They used real streets, buildings, and even the local library for several scenes, and dressed the town and the storefronts in downtown to give the appearance of the 1960s. Several scenes were filmed in Hamilton, Ontario. The city's old buildings and abandoned factories helped create the creepy, vintage look of 1960s Derry. A key filming location was Delta Secondary School, one of the oldest schools in the city. Although no longer in operation, it stood in for Derry High School. The team also used Toronto as a filming base for the series to further expand and utilize the filming resources there. By having the same creative team as the two films, the series helps establish continuity and create a new King franchise. Benjamin Wallfish returned to provide the score for the series, having previously scored the films. Because of this, the series has a similar sound to the movies, establishing a sense of continuity with the eeriness of the film's scores. Having both Muschiettis as part of the team also allowed a greater sense of continuity in ensuring that details presented in the films match with ideas and details presented in the series. For example, Muschietti played a heavy part in helping the casting associates on the films cast the older versions of the characters to ensure both physical and emotional continuity. She does something similar for the TV series in ensuring some of the characters that appear in the films have child actors cast for their 60s counterparts, if it calls for that. She even revealed the difficulty of returning to film the series with the child cast after the 2023 Hollywood strikes, since they were in a state of spontaneous growth. Let's just hope the series continues that streak of continuity for future seasons. Thanks for joining us behind the scenes. We hope you enjoyed getting a closer look at how It, Welcome to Derry came to be, from the return of Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise to going back in time to the 60s and all the production details in between. If you like this kind of content, let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss what's coming next for Collider Behind the Scenes.